obligation to protect their students. This is not the government intervening in a free speech. These are students at school, and we're coming off years of silence is violence, your words are violent, safe spaces for students, and all the things. There are examples of people that were let go from their jobs without any due process, professors that said something that made a college student uncomfortable. We were all quick to react, not at the table, collective us.
No, it was you guys at the table too, okay, Sarah? I'm starting to agree with you here. Boy, I'll tell you what, when you start to agree with some ladies on The View, you got to say, when's the last time that ever happened? So, Sarah, you're doing great so far, honey, but don't start backing away from the crap that you guys were saying, all right? Otherwise, you're going right back into your own hypocrisy.
Quick to respond to all this. So this silence is deafening to me because I don't think I realized until lately just how insidious and accepted anti-Semitism is globally around the world. We had
What an idiot. What another did. I'm going to have to stake the stamp of Simmer and put it onto her too, SIMR. What the hell did she think globally? What do you think happened in World War II when 6 million Jews got exterminated? Oh, I didn't think. I had no idea that anti-Semitism was, that big globally. I just thought it was a tiny little thing, like just a small part of the world there. Like a couple of people just said some anti-Jewish things and, ruffled some feathers. That's all I thought was going on. I had no idea it was a global event.
Believe all women, but then recently we discovered all the violent rape and mutilation of women in Israel, and women's groups around the globe
quiet
or late to speak up, which just like genocide of any person, insert any group, Black people, gay people, Native Americans, everyone respond as they should, and rightly so. Yet there is a pause when it comes to Jewish people. And we warn all the time about dog whistles on this show. This is a bullhorn, and they are telling you exactly what they want to do. We warn of Donald Trump. Take him seriously. He's not just full of words. This needs to be taken.
Brought Donald Trump into it, idiot. This moron. Now she's going back in that. Oh, it's a bullhorn. Did Donald Trump ever say, call for an intifada? Did Donald Trump ever say to march people into a sea? Did Donald Trump ever call for violence against Jewish people or any other people for that matter? Absolutely not. So don't conflate the two, Sarah. You're going out of your lane, honey. You're going out of your lane.
As seriously with those same standards. It's unacceptable.
Can I just add one more point to what I said before? There is a mass murders going on in the Ukraine right now. The Russians are now being accused of war crimes. I don't see people going after Russian students. Just an interesting point. Why go after Jewish students because the governments are behaving the way they are? Or you want to call Hamas a government? I think that's not a government.
Can I just weigh in here? Because, I think this...
We're going to be hearing now from Sunny, culture appropriating, name appropriating Hostin. Her real name is Assumption Cummings. So let's hear it now from Assumption and see what she has to say.
What Elise Stefanik, the Congresswoman, was talking about, and what this entire hearing was about, should have been about free speech. And free speech, and although many people may feel uncomfortable with it, the most hateful and heinous speech is the most protected speech. Okay?
Campuses have not been good for free speech in years.
But
Sarah made a very good point. She goes, campuses have not been good for free speech in years. That's so true, especially all 99.99% of leftists. But I have to say something, folks. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I really can't. I don't even know if the words are going to come out of my mouth. I don't know if my tongue is going to allow me to enunciate these words. But I don't know how to say this. I think this is the first time that I've ever agreed with Assumption Cummings, when she said that free speech is speech that is so vile, so heinous, so despicable that it must be protected, that even if you can't stand that speech, those words, you have to allow them to be said, you have to allow them to be uttered, you have to allow them to be spoken. Wow. Wow. Mark this day here, folks, December 12th, 2023. Sunny Hostin, Assumption Cummings, actually said something that was worth writing down, that was worth stating, that was worth repeating. Let's continue with Ascension.
But they have been.
They
And
cancel
what-
Harvard
actually has one of the worst records on free speech.
What you heard was them saying what is completely
Now, she was saying that the colleges have been areas where free speech has been completely allowed. So she said something completely perfect, perfectly great about the First Amendment, and then she goes back to the stupidity of and the hypocrisy and the lies that colleges and universities were not areas where free speech was not allowed. She's trying to tell us that free speech at college and universities has always been allowed. Idiot.
accurate under the law. It depends on the context. So if someone does yell at a crowd racial slurs or calls for genocide in a public place, in a crowd, that is protected speech. One-on-one confrontation, if a white student, for example, says to a black student a racial slur,
Then it's hate
This is
that
talking
is,
about
let me
the
just,
codes of
can I just
conduct.
finish
Yeah,
this
it's not
for a
talking about the
moment,
law,
please?
though.
But the codes of conduct must adhere to the law. So
But it
when
can
it's
go
when
further
it's
than the
one
law to
when it's
protect students.
No, it really can't go against the Constitution of the United States. So when we're talking about this one-on-one type of thing, yes, that is when that conduct leads to harassment and could be actionable by the university, and that's exactly what Harvard.
But as it said,
Harvard
you have to
person was
commit
saying.
genocide to be able to condemn genocidal language. Like that's a dangerous,
No,
slippery slope.
No, yeah. But again, use of that type of example is really inflammatory, and it
But
distorts.
that's actual
it
words being
distorts
used on
what-
college campuses.
It distorts what the law is. The law protects that kind of language, and in my
colleges
opinion,
protect the students?
college is the perfect place to have these sorts of uncomfortable conversations. Even the
Jewish students don't feel comfortable.
We're not talking about conversations, you stupid, idiotic, moronic, retard, Ascension. That's not what we're talking about. Conversations. Conversations is a debate. Conversation is a discussion. Conversation is give and take. Conversation is not making somebody else feel that they're scared, that they're literally scared for their own life. And that's what's happening. These college students, these Palestinian people that are protesting in favor of Palestine are saying things and doing things and acting in ways in which is terrifying and scaring these people. And the college needs to step in, whether it's with security, with police, or whatever, to protect their students. And this whole crap that she's talking about, that's one-on-one, that's absolutely freaking bullshit. If one person yells out in a movie house, fire, or something, that causes a chaos and rampage and destruction or whatever, you're going to tell me that doesn't, nothing is going to happen then to that person? This one-on-one crap? I can call somebody fat. I can call somebody ugly. I can call somebody a moron, an idiot. I can call them whatever I want. And you can say that that's just, being terrible. That's being annoying. That's being an idiot, a moron. That's whatever it is. That's being mean-hearted. Okay, fine. That's free speech. But when your speech, and somebody could look at it objectively and say that speech could become actionable, or could lead to some type of action, or is directing action in a particular arena or on a particular thing or place or person or persons, that's where you've crossed the line. That's where your free speech thing ends. Your free speech can't promote violence. Your free speech can't, can't be directing threats at somebody. Okay? That's not what happens. What do you think when police come and somebody's acting, publicly, bad public behavior, screaming at the top of their lungs, shouting, screaming, throwing things and stuff? Police are going to come in and either detain, arrest, or try to calm the matter down. But if it continues to become belligerent on that part, that's where your free speech thing ends, folks. I don't want at Sergeant Cummings one-on-one. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. And this is a person that supposedly went to law school. Give your degree back. Get your money back, honey.
Comfortable
Even
on
the
college
ACLU
campuses.
said that the Supreme Court cannot prevent speech that is likely to provide a hostile response.
If
It
I
ruled
said this,
against
if
the
I
hecklers-
said this about any other community on earth other than Jews, I would be canceled 10 times.
Yes,
a day.
yes, you would.
That's on.
That's actually not
The
true.
anti-Jewish hatred is
That's not
actually
true.
not
That's
true. Because you.
What do you mean that's not true? Of course he'd be canceled. That's not true. You almost got canceled, Whoopi, but the only reason you didn't is because you're black. And the only reason Sunny Hostin wouldn't be is because she's black.
It's the most annoying, one of the most annoying things about the Constitution is that as a student, if I'm looking out and I'm watching somebody put up that noose and I'm feeling uncomfortable, they're not, you know.
If it's in a public place,
if it's a
it's
public
fine.
place,
Safe
if it's in
spaces,
front
you
of-
can even have free speech in other
but here's-
contexts
but
at
Your
Harvard.
student's door,
Yeah.
then that's different. And the law
Yeah.
is the law. And I know that a lot of people don't understand the law, but
You don't understand it either.
If it's codes of conduct, it's not about the law. They can go much more reaching than the law goes.
no, they
So here's what's
cannot.
getting. We're talking about how elite universities are dealing with anti-Semitic speech on campus, and I believe you're.
Where you had something.
Were you
I was just going to
finished?
say,
Okay.
you know, I believe that intimidation and harassment of any group, of
Yeah.
course, is hurtful.
Really? Were you saying that to all the MAGA people at that time? You freaking hypocrite. You didn't open up your freaking mouth then.
And hateful.
Yeah.
I have been the subject, we have all been the subject of hateful comments, one-on-one comments.
Yeah.
However, the law is the law, and you said
The
something
law
like
is
it
the
would never
law.
be allowed for any other group except for
shouldn't
Jews.
be.
Or
Yeah, it
shouldn't be.
shouldn't be
And,
allowed.
and that is, and I'll tell you just very briefly, in a case called Brandenburg, the Supreme Court held that a Ku Klux Klan leader could not be jailed for a speech stating that there might have to be some revenge taken for the continued suppression of the white Caucasian race. The court has protected swastikas on public property. The court has protected burning
It's not
crosses.
the courts, it's the college codes of
Yes,
conduct.
but the colleges
if
are
I
not
could get in
talking.
here,
Go ahead,
okay,
go ahead,
I could get in
yeah,
here. I
yeah.
just want to say this was the most stunning congressional hearing I've possibly ever heard. I think every single one, these three presidents should resign for their lack of moral clarity at a time that is so
Moral clarity
fundamentally.
because they're following the
Let her
law?
finish, Sonny.
Please
Let her
let me finish.
talk.
The definition of genocide, the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group. This term actually was first kind of came into international law in 1946 following the Holocaust. Genocide is not a hypothetical to the Jewish community. In all of our family's history, in their memory, when our family members were alive, 6 million Jews were killed and a lot of the world turned a blind eye to it. The anti-Semitic hatred that we are seeing in this country, the most prevalent hate crime victims in this country are Jews, and we have to be loud and speak out. And I want to say one final thing here.
Yeah.
We need to be able to hold two collective thoughts at once in this country. Your heart can break for innocent Palestinians. Mine does. You can oppose the Israeli government.
Yes.
You can condemn, or you could call for a two-state solution, all while having the moral clarity to condemn genocidal language
But
against
you can
Jews.
you can also protest in this country.
I
That
don't think
is the
genocidal
law.
language has any place on college
Well, the
campuses.
Supreme Court-
Jews don't feel safe on
It's
college
not
campuses.
allowed in Germany, I'll tell you that much.
The Supreme
Well,
Court
here's the bottom line. Can we all agree that either it should be protected for everyone,
Yes.
because that also means you and I, when someone else decides that they don't like what I say, let's be consistent
And it
with
is
whatever we do.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
and the Supreme Court has
So there you have it, folks. The cackling hens of the view from the pens. The cackling hens. And I could go on and on and on and on about Assumption Cummings and her hypocrisy. And again, it's interpretation of the law. That's her opinion. I have my opinion. Love to see your comments. What do you guys think? Are you on her side? Or are you basically, like I said, is she's reading the law in terms of where she went about free speech, and there's no doubt about that. My thing is that when it gets into something becoming actionable or could lead to an action that could result in violence or could be by any sane person could be deemed that that is being directed at a certain person or things, that I think that's where your free speech stops. Anyways, we'll let you decide. Give your comments. We'd love to know where you stand on this issue. And you've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host, Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel, like, share, and follow us. You know what to do. Check out our links above and below. Leave with my final thought, which is when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.